So the 300 people who are inside Goodison Park just dotted around the main stand here, and there are television personnel on the far side of the ground in the Bullens Road side of the stadium. And now it is the turn of the two great clubs of Merseyside to return to action. For Liverpool, the Premier League leaders are returning with a 22-point lead at the top of the table, and knowing that they could clinch their first league championship title for 30 years in their first week back. Liverpool need a maximum of 6 points to be confirmed as league champions again. Referee Mike Dean just waiting for the nod from the side of the pitch. Liverpool in the first half will defend the Park stand to our right, and as Mike Dean blows the whistle, again we see all of the players out there going down and taking a knee. The players of Everton and Liverpool dotted around the pitch there, all on one knee, and Mike Dean as well. And now we're ready for the resumption of big-time football on Merseyside, with a Merseyside derby unlike any other, as Liverpool kick off and immediately send the ball away down the left-hand side, where Sadio Mane can't keep it in, and it's out of play for a throw-in to Everton, who are in the blue shirts, white shorts and the white socks, and Liverpool in the all-red kit with the white numbers. And the ball just in front of where Jurgen Klopp is standing down in front of us. Klopp, who is unbeaten in his first 10 Merseyside derbies as the Liverpool manager, standing with his hands behind his back, hoping that this is going to be quickly done in terms of wrapping up the league title on the resumption of the Premier League, as Coleman is challenged strongly by Sadio Mane, and that's the first Merseyside derby style challenge that we've seen, as Mane puts in the challenge to knock it out of play. The Everton team is as follows, just to run through it again if you weren't listening earlier. Pickford in goal, back four of Coleman, Keane, Holgate and Digne. In midfield, making his full debut, only his fifth appearance for the club, Anthony Gordon, young Liverpudlian, 19 years old, Andre Gomez, Tom Davis and Alex Iwobi, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up front. The average age of this Everton team, according to our colleague Phil McNulty, 24 years and 250 days old. The youngest Everton average starting lineup in terms of the age in a derby match since 1986. The ball's back with Pickford in the Everton goal in front of the Gladys Street end, and Everton playing it out from the back. This is the Liverpool team then. Alisson in goal. He did have a little bit of a niggle, but he's okay. Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and Milner, Henderson, Fabinho and Keita, Minamino, Firmino and Mane. Salah is on the substitutes bench. He was also a little bit of a doubt, and there's no involvement for Andy Robertson, so that's why Milner is at left back. So Everton 0, Liverpool 0. BBC Radio 5 live, and Mark Lawrenson, a multiple league title winner with Liverpool, European Cup winner as well. Mark's with us here. What about how far would you say we are away from one another? 4 or 5 yards, I would say.
I would have thought so, yeah. Not good for a free kick, but certainly looking at Everton where they're lining up, John, they're playing two up front. Richarlison's going to go and play alongside Calvert-Lewin, obviously giving a little bit more space to Liverpool, certainly, but the game started at a decent pace, I think you'd say, so far.
Yes, it has, and here's Alexander-Arnold, who swirls one of those trademark balls in from the right-hand side, but too close to the England goalkeeper, his England colleague Pickford, who's able to step forward towards the edge of the 6-yard box and pick it up. And the other point as well, from an Everton point of view, Mark, it will be starting on the right-hand side, and young Gordon, who looks like a little waif, doesn't he, on the far side of the field, with his fair hair bobbing and the palest pair of legs.
Yeah, I think he's been the Isle of Wight.
I think he has. Here's Richarlison now, breaking forward down the left-hand side into the Liverpool box. Richarlison shoots right across goal, and actually Calvert-Lewin cannot have been far away from getting a touch on that. Just couldn't get there. Van Dijk went with him, but a lightning burst from Richarlison.
Strong as well, wasn't? I don't know whether Alisson might have got a little hand on that also to take it away from Calvert-Lewin.
Yep, so that's the first real opening of the match, and we're seeing how Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin can potentially work together. Richarlison with 12 goals, Calvert-Lewin with 15. He's got a great record, if you've forgotten, which there's every chance you have done. Before football was suspended, Calvert-Lewin on a run of 8 goals in 12 appearances under the management of Carlo Ancelotti. So it is the Merseyside derby then, our third Premier League commentary of the day on this 5 Live Premier League Sunday after Newcastle were handsome 3-0 winners against Sheffield United in the end. Aston Villa 1, Chelsea 2. It finished at Villa Park after Chelsea came from a goal down, and Liverpool have got a free kick in the central third of the field, Mark.
It was a good save by Alisson. It just appeared on the screen, the big screen to the left of me. It was a very, very good save. Yeah, just slightly in terms of Anthony Gordon playing on the left for Everton against Trent Alexander-Arnold, so that's an interesting one. We thought he would start against Milner, didn't we?
We did.
That's the poor tackle.
Yes, from Fabinho, just inside the Liverpool half, on Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He certainly got a piece of Calvert-Lewin there, who has got quickly up onto his knee, but he's just feeling his left ankle.
It's interesting, John. Without the crowd, it doesn't seem as though it's such a bad tackle, does it? Because everybody just gets on with it.
They would have all been up for that one in the main stand around us. We're actually sitting just 2 or 3 rows behind where we normally sit here, but we're also slightly to the left as Firmino charges down an attempted clearance, but it will just bounce through for Pickford. For regular listeners to 5 Live commentaries from Goodison Park, we have, ever since I can remember, Mark, talked about the stanchion, the pillar that holds up the roof of the main stand, being in our way and blocking our view of the penalty area in front of the Gladys Street end. Well, it's not anymore.
Well, it's not for you, it is for me.
Is it?
It's slap banging it, yeah. I'm going to have a sore neck.
That's a different pillar.
Oh, is it? All right, sorry. I didn't know there were different pillars.
That's pillar D.
Pillar D,
it's got D written on it.
D for doubtful.
Yes, ball through the middle for Liverpool, cleared away by Everton on the edge of the box. And then Andre Gomez, who made that remarkable recovery from that horrible injury that he suffered back in November, just 112 days out before he made his recovery, before the suspension. And then Anthony Gordon gets a touch on the far side. Challenge comes in on him, and it's out of play for a throw to Everton in that sliver of sunshine on the far side of the field. The Bullens Road stand, almost completely empty, is bathed in sunshine. Grey clouds above, though, as the throw-in is taken, and it's deflected all the way back to central defender Michael Keane, who just passes it into the path of captain Seamus Coleman, and his pass forward is cut out on the halfway line. Firmino, then Tom Davis is in with a challenge. Firmino just a little late there as he dived in and he caught Davis, who goes down. He's okay, it's just a free kick, nothing more than that. And you're right, by the way, I saw a replay of the Fabinho challenge on Calvert-Lewin a little earlier, naughty. Which wasn't it?
Yeah. And Mino, when Everton have the ball, he's dropping really, really deep, chasing the left back at the moment.
Minamino yet to score for Liverpool after his arrival from RB Salzburg in January. This is his 4th start. He's come on as a substitute in 4, so this is his 8th appearance without a goal. Ball down the right-hand side for Everton, for Calvert-Lewin. He holds it up, gives it back to Iwobi, who's arriving at pace. There's a double deflection there, and the second deflection actually was up and onto the hand of Iwobi, and it's a free kick to Liverpool inside their own penalty area. 0-0.
Good break from Everton. Good ball down the right hand side. I thought Calvert-Lewin was offside, but however he did well, got it down, and it was the pass into Iwobi, where Iwobi's first touch wasn't particularly good.
A couple of bits and pieces in terms of the form that these sides were in before the suspension. Again, you might have forgotten this. Liverpool had actually lost 3 of their last 4 and 4 of their last 6 matches in all competitions before the shutdown. Of course, they were knocked out of the Champions League in their last match at Anfield by Atletico Madrid, whereas Carlo Ancelotti's Everton are unbeaten at home under his management. So their last home defeat over 90 minutes was in Marco Silva's last home match in charge in November. Here's Firmino on the left. Firmino pulls the ball across, but it is slid away from the danger area and out of play for a throw-in for Milner, which he takes down the line. And this... Did that go straight out?
No, it just bounced in and went straight out, I think.
Right. that went out of play behind your pillar.
No, pillar D was not in the way.
It was for me.
It was the one for the cross just before.
Throwing up the line. We're in different positions, and now the pillars are in different places. Here's Milner on the left-hand side, wins a throw-in, which everyone appeals for. That's more like the derby match. Liverpool are given it. Ball across field by Milner, and now the ball in the centre circle with Everton. But the challenge from Fabinho, and then Keita gives it to his right. Minamino is going to try a shot from 22, 23 yards out. He had a goal, but it sailed away high and wide by probably 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and it was I think it was the young boy Gordon in midfield, got his head up to play a pass, and because of the pace of the game that he's not used to, just got the ball pinched off him, really.
Anthony Gordon making his full debut in the derby match. Remember your first Merseyside derby, Mark?
No.
It passed you by.
I can't remember last week.
Everton 0, Liverpool 0, and Everton having rescued the ball, or at least picked up a new ball after that one ended up in the Gladys Street end, or the Howard Kendall Gladys Street end as it now is. Ball played back into the Everton penalty area. Pickford with Mane not too far away, clears left-footed up towards Calvert-Lewin. He challenges Matip, who ends up on the ground, but he's able to recover Matip, and the ball comes back to him, and he sees it back to Alisson.
I think that's something that Everton would like. Calvert-Lewin up against Matip. Calvert-Lewin very, very strong, strength of a ball, and he just knocked Matip over there very, very easily, and they're probably looking to try and match him up. The other thing, John, is that Everton are playing from the back. And when I came here last time they played Manchester United, as soon as they started doing that, their crowd were going nuts, as in they didn't want it. Well, today, of course, it doesn't matter.
No. Here is Mane. Sadio Mane just forward of the centre circle, and then Fabinho curls a pass to the right-hand side to Alexander-Arnold, and then the ball played in towards Minamino. Firmino with a touch. Minamino tries to get through into the heart of the penalty area, and then a challenge on Fabinho in centre field has resulted in a Liverpool free kick right in the middle of the Everton half.
Yeah, Richarlison, I think. Richarlison actually thinks, and so does Seamus Coleman, that it should have been Everton's free kick, but it's been given the other way.
So it's a free kick for Liverpool, just to the right of the midpoint of the Everton half. Jordan Henderson is there. Jordan Henderson, the Liverpool captain, who turned 30 this week. Henderson just placing the ball there, and is going to step away. Now Alexander-Arnold is there as well. He's one of the players out there whose hair is a little longer than it was before the lockdown.
This is his range.
Alexander-Arnold is moving to the left of the ball now. The Everton wall is lined up, and Alexander-Arnold chips it in, but well beyond the run of either Van Dijk or Firmino, and it's just harmlessly through for a goal kick.
Henderson, who was stood next to him, looked at him as though to say, what the heck? I think Henderson thought he was going to have a smash at the goal with it, to be honest with you, and he just kind of dinked it. And as you rightly say, it just disappeared into the terraces behind the Everton goal.
That was a rusty one.
Very.
12 minutes played, 5 live at Goodison Park, inside Goodison Park. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. When I get a chance, I'll just run you through the list of substitutes as well, which is interesting. I'm sure for the supporters of the two clubs, the ball's deflected out of play to Carlo Ancelotti, and he just knocks it up, shiny black shoes, gives it to James Milner. The two managers just a few yards apart down there. It's the 4th time this season that Ancelotti's been up against Liverpool. The first 2 were with his former club Napoli, and he has been on the winning team against Liverpool this season with the win in the famous San Paolo in the south of Italy early on in the season. Calvert-Lewin is caught again by Fabinho. He's hopping around after the challenge, but he's okay, no free kick this time. Tom Davies nips in, just wins the ball, but it bounces to Milner, and now Fabinho plays it back into his own half to Virgil van Dijk.
It's heading quicker this, John.
Just a little bit, yeah. Now the ball to the right-hand side. We've had those short, sharp showers on this June day, so there'll be a bit of moisture in the surface of the pitch for sure. Keita now playing it to the right hand side, and Matip stretches his legs and brings the ball forward, gives it back to Keita. Keita now 30 yards out. Mane drops deep. Sadio Mane, 18 goals this season. Now to the right hand side to Alexander-Arnold. Then it comes back to Henderson. Little pass to Alexander-Arnold on the right hand side. Minamino comes short, and then the Japanese plays it back to Fabinho. This is good from Liverpool. They're in their stride here, but then the final pass from Alexander-Arnold just lets the move down, and that runs through harmlessly to Pickford.
Yeah, they found it really difficult to kind of break. Well, there are probably 8 Everton players in there. The front two obviously remained up front, but Everton just basically filled the holes.
Pickford with the ball in his hands, rolls it out. Holgate steps forward, steps around Minamino, and it's played in field and given away by Digne on that far side. And now Liverpool will bring it forward again. Minamino allows it to run, and then Michael Keane puts his foot through it and clears it out of play downfield in the Liverpool half. Everton subs, as we mentioned before the match, 2 goalkeepers on the bench, the 9-man bench, Stekelenburg and Virginia. Then also Leighton Baines, Sigurdsson, Bernard, Keane, Cuco Martina, then young Jared Branthwaite, who they signed from Carlisle in January, and Benny Beringami. James Milner winning the ball back from Calvert-Lewin inside his own half. Here's Minamino playing it back to Milner inside Liverpool territory. And the Liverpool subs, Wijnaldum, Salah, as we've mentioned, Lovren, Joe Gomez on the bench, Oxlade-Chamberlain, there was a little bit of a doubt about him, Origi, and then young Harvey Elliott and Nico Williams. Liverpool playing the ball to Keita. Keita with Mane at close quarters, but he uses Milner on the left-hand side. Milner at left back, in for the injured Robertson. And then Tom Davis is able to come out with the ball after Gomez initially won it. Gives it to Richarlison in the centre circle. Richarlison off and running. Calvert-Lewin makes a run to the edge of the penalty area, but Richarlison still going down into the left back area. Iwobi arrives on the scene. This is on the Everton right. Then the fair head Tom Davis gets the ball back, plays it square to Gomez, and the Portuguese rolls it out towards the left-hand side. Digne is there. Digne hoists a high cross, which drifts high and over the crossbar and behind for a goal kick. 0-0, Mark Lawrenson.
Yeah, up until that moment it was a good move by Everton. They moved the ball very, very quickly, minimum amount of touches. It was just a poor ball from Digne, and he played one into the central midfield before, and it had Carlo Ancelotti tearing his hair out because it got pinched, and for a split second Liverpool were on the break.
So 0-0 the score. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. The closest we've come, that Richarlison cross come shot, probably was a shot actually, Mark, wasn't it? If
yeah, I
Alisson
think so.
made the save.
Yeah.
And Liverpool building possession inside their own half over on the far side. The Goodison Park Stadium has been dressed up, as are all the Premier League grounds, so there are various banners and flags of supporters clubs. There's that anti-racism banner as well, I see high up the park stand to our right. And now Liverpool with Minamino with his left foot digs out the pass to the right hand side. Henderson plays it back. Alexander-Arnold's ball into the box to Minamino, who turns and tries to cross, but it's blocked by Holgate. Comes back to Minamino, he gives it to Henderson. Now Alexander-Arnold, right corner of the box, chips it in high into the 6-yard box. An easy catch for Pickford.
Yeah, it was a better pass by Alexander-Arnold, the one before it, when it looked like he was going to cross it and just played it down the right. I thought Liverpool would have done better with it.
Minamino so far?
He's busy, isn't he? Sometimes you want to almost say, like, stand still a little minute. It's, you can sometimes play football standing still, which, as in, I'm a target, but he certainly works hard, becomes very, very deep.
Mane putting in a challenge on the halfway line. Coleman as well, and the ball's out of play for what is given as a Liverpool throw. Milner to take this. Liverpool have already beaten Everton twice this season in the league match. Remember the 5-2, which turned out to be Marco Silva's final match in charge. He was, as the song goes, the terrace chant, sacked in the morning. And then the FA Cup match, when Carlo Ancelotti was in charge, Everton played the full strength team, Liverpool played the youngsters, and Curtis Jones scored that unforgettable winning goal late in the match. Liverpool in possession. Liverpool unbeaten in 21 matches against Everton. Firmino on the edge of the box tries to thread it through into the area, looking for the run of Sadio Mane, but that was intercepted by Coleman. Now here's Iwobi halfway inside his own half, hits the ball downfield, but there's no one there in a blue shirt, only Alisson, all in black, 10 yards outside his penalty area, who's able to take possession. Yes, it's a record run, this, in Merseyside derbies, a 21 match unbeaten run. Great record for Liverpool, something that anyone involved for Everton over the course of the past 10 years would want to draw a veil over. Here's Milner on the left-hand side. Milner playing it in field, and then Mane towards the edge of the area to Firmino, bounces off him, and Everton are back in possession. And it's Richarlison who's trying to run it away, but he's running himself into trouble and then overruns it just as Milner comes in with a challenge, and down goes Richarlison, and Mike Dean's already got the yellow card out of his pocket for James Milner.
Yeah, just completely took him out right in front of the benches as well, almost under the nose of Mike Dean also. It was just a poor tackle. Richarlison did really, really well. He sort of bit off 2 or 3 tackles, and Milner came in to get the ball from Iwobi and turned his back and ended up just catching Richarlison, yeah, which is why he left the pitch. He's explaining to the linesman what he did, but it's too late. And
he's clattered actually down. He was losing his footing anyway, Richarlison.
Yeah.
And Milner came in, just helped him lose his balance completely with a little nudge.
Oh, he helped him
and sent him sprawling off the field. And it's quite hard, isn't it, that area just off the pitch at Goodison Park?
Well, it's just so tight, isn't it, the whole place?
It is. And this is just to the left of what are I think they are the tiniest technical areas in the Premier League, aren't they? It can be no more than probably 7 or 8 yards wide, and it was just to the left of that, and he received some treatment, but he's okay, and he's back up on the field. Offside flag against Minamino, and Liverpool free kick to Everton half inside their own half. So 20 minutes played. Mark, what have you made of it so far?
Well, it's pace-wise it's good, and I would say probably Liverpool have had more of the play without really creating an opportunity. They've kind of played in front of Everton at the moment. Richarlison obviously made that save, made Alisson save away to his left-hand side, which was a decent save. Apart from that, chances few and far between.
Free kick then for the offside that Holgate plays forward towards Calvert-Lewin, tall and imposing. I suspect he would have been in Gareth Southgate's England squad back in March had it not been for the suspension. And then Gomez sends a high pass out towards this side of the field, the Everton right, that Iwobi effectively runs out of pitch. He was backpedaling and chested it down when he was off the field, throwing Liverpool. And then Holgate is across to hoist a high ball out of play, which bounces into the area to the right of the dugouts, out of our sight, under the little roof of the lower section down there. Throw in to Liverpool. What about the experience, Mark, so far? It's the first time you've been in the ground for one of these matches behind closed doors.
It's actually all right. I kind of forgot that there is no crowd here, because the game is getting quicker and tackles are starting to fly in, and it starts to feel a little bit like a derby.
Firmino taking the ball down on the edge of the penalty area, but Coleman was in. It bounced up for him, and Coleman was able to take it away from the Liverpool number 9, who's yet to score against Everton, Roberto Firmino, in his Liverpool career. Iwobi then plays it forward, but that's way ahead of either Calvert-Lewin or young Gordon.
I think teenager. It was meant for Gordon, John, but it needed a little bit of curl on it to bring it round to him, and it was just played flat.
So Liverpool are in possession inside their own half. It's quite cool, actually, I must say, with no one in the main stand around us. The wind is swirling around on this showery afternoon. It is the longest day today, isn't it? The 21st of June.
Yep.
So the longest season on the longest day. And the ball out of play. Are we going to have our first drinks break? I think we are. First drinks break of the match. And it means that the managers now have a timeout, doesn't it?
Yeah.
In each half, as well as the drinks. You'll see the managers speaking to both of the sets of players down there. Jurgen Klopp just looking across to Alexander-Arnold, who eventually arrives into the huddle.
Yeah, I think from Liverpool's point of view, that the movement's been decent and the passing's nice and crisp, but not really managing at the moment to break Everton down. Everton defensively look very solid. Richarlison's worked extremely hard for Everton. He's the game's outstanding player at the moment. But apart from, of course, his one opportunity, we sit here and not a lot has happened in opposition penalty areas.
No, contributions from listeners who are following our coverage on 5 Live. Ishan says Henderson has picked up from where he left before the break, easily the best red player along with Alexander-Arnold so far. Sibilo says could be the perfect opportunity for the boys in blue to get a result here in unfamiliar circumstances, especially without the Liverpool fans. And Aditya says Trent still finding his range of passing, bit of fine-tuning required. But I was listening to you, Mark, when you were on the programme earlier from home before you came to Goodison, making the point that it probably will take a couple of weeks or more for the players to get. I think we saw that in the Bundesliga, didn't we?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's been 10 games in the Premier League so far, hasn't there?
That's right.
And there's very, very few home wins, hasn't there? Is it 2? Is that right?
Well, what I can tell you is that if you look at the Premier League, the Championship and the 2 playoff matches now, there have been 24 of them. There have been 11 away wins and 6 home wins. As Davis is caught, bouncing ball, Keita put in the challenge. This is only 5 or 6 yards inside the Liverpool half. So
that would be unusual, would it not?
Oh, yeah.
Stats-wise.
Yeah. And in Germany now, in the Bundesliga, there have been almost half of the 73 matches. 34 of them have been away wins.
Wow.
Free kick for Everton near the halfway line. Michael Keane will take this high up towards the edge of the area, bounces past Calvert-Lewin and Matip, and will actually bounce all the way through for a goal kick. Alisson just throwing the ball down onto the corner of the 6-yard box. Almost 24 minutes played. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. There will be a 6:06, by the way, tonight. 6:06 back on a Sunday evening. Emma Jones and Robbie Savage. I'll let you know when the lines are open later, but it'll be on air about 9 o'clock tonight to discuss the first weekend of the resumption of the Premier League. Still one match to play of this round of matches, and you'll hear that on 5 Live tomorrow night, which is the Manchester City-Burnley game live from the Etihad. Davis playing the ball back to Digne on the far side, but actually there was a little touch in there first of all from Sadio Mane, and it's out of play for another Everton throw. 10 yards inside Liverpool territory. The Everton flag is fluttering high above on the roof of the Bullens Road stand, and it is bathed in sunshine as Everton take the throw, and the challenge comes immediately in to knock it out of play for a second consecutive throw over there that Digne will take. 2 or 3 people behind him. There's a cameraman there and a couple of stewards and a couple of medical people are in those full white body kits with the white masks on as well, sitting over there in the blue seats, all on their own. Davis now back to Iwobi. Everton have moved it to the right hand side, then it's back into the Everton half to Keane, and then Keane across to his central defensive partner Holgate, and Holgate overhits that by a distance, straight out of play.
That's in the Liverpool porter cabins.
right, yes. It's in the section where the Liverpool fans would have been in that corner.
Presumably all those flags are representative of the players they've got.
Must be Everton
in
players,
the first team
they?
squad, yeah.
Yeah, there's an Irish flag, French flag.
Brazilian.
Pass on the next one. Actually, I wonder, could that be Curaçao? Because Cuco Martinez from Curaçao, isn't he? Davis in with a challenge on Sadio Mane. That was full-blooded as well, but the ball bounces away. It was a 50-50. And then Van Dijk goes all the way back to Alisson in front of his penalty area. Now, Matip, tall and angular, is really hardly been involved this season, Joe Matip, since he had a knee injury, remember, early on in the season. Matip, this is only his 3rd appearance since October, coming in with Gomez on the bench. Matip gets it back. Matip and Van Dijk, of course, remember, were the preferred choice for a large portion of last season. Here is Van Dijk, now to Keita. Keita gives it to Sadio Mane and then gets it back. And then Keita will chip it across, bounces in the centre circle. Henderson gets a touch, allows it to run. Henderson making good ground down the right-hand side, but Everton have everyone now back behind the ball apart from Calvert-Lewin. Alexander-Arnold now on the right-hand side. Minamino comes short. Then back to Matip. Matip, Foden to the left towards Keita. Van Dijk. Now Mane again, Keita. Mane is able to work it across, but gives it away to Gordon, and then Gordon with an early ball straight into the path of Matip. He was looking for the run of Calvert-Lewin through the middle, but picked out the Liverpool central defender. instead. Liverpool again with the ball down the right-hand side. Minamino, in comes the challenge on him. It's a fair one, but the pass in field from Gordon gives it back to Liverpool again. And Fabinho can start once more. The tall, shaven-headed Brazilian. That's exactly the sort of haircut you want, as you well know, Mark, during shutdown.
Indeed.
Just shave it all off. Here is Matip, now to the right-hand side. And then Henderson's cross took a deflection, and that carries it behind for Liverpool corner, the first corner of the match.
Is it a corner or is it a free kick?
Has it been given as a handball?
I think so, yeah. Still very, very difficult for Liverpool to break Everton down. Everton are doing really well. They're shuffling across when the ball's on the right. They're not letting themselves dive in for tackles, and at the moment there are just no holes at all for Liverpool to play through.
Needs a better delivery then from the set piece, which has been given for the handball and outstretched arm by the Everton defender. So it's a free kick out on the right. Everton have put up a two-man wall. Jordan Pickford. Now the sun has moved around, so there's a shard of sunshine right across the pitch widthways, and Pickford is bouncing around in that. Out on the far side in the shadows, Alexander-Arnold raises a left arm, plays it in. Matip with a header, a clear header, and he headed it down and wide by 4 yards from 7 yards out.
Yeah, should have done much better. Saw it coming all the way as well, and very least hit the target. Definitely the best chance of the game so far. He headed it like he didn't expect to get it.
He did, and didn't threaten the Everton goal. So with almost half an hour played, it's Everton 0, Liverpool 0. Sounds like somebody playing the saxophone.
Nice.
It's
bit of sax during the match.
I think it's Love Will Tear Us Apart again.
Oh, I never thought you bothered.
Well, we're very much torn apart here. Sitting 6 yards apart. The ball's deflected out of play, and it will be recovered as the ball from out of our sight. That's perplexing me, that saxophone. Where's that coming from? Fabinho playing the ball forward. Bounced up, that's a free kick to Everton. Just a high foot from Fabinho, which has resulted in an Everton set piece on the right-hand side. Now, the quality of the set pieces so far has not been great. Fourth official, Anthony Taylor, who's down there with his white face mask on, is just standing between the two referees. Jurgen Klopp's not best pleased with that decision to get the free kick.
I think one or two prior as well to it.
So free kick to be taken in from this right-hand side. Digne, he runs over it with his left foot, and it's played in by Gordon, but the header from Richarlison is over the top. But I think the offside flag might have been up against Richarlison.
It was. Good delivery from the youngster, wasn't it?
It was.
Bent in with pace, right-footed, coming into Richarlison. If anything, he got too much on it. Needed a bit of a skiddy header.
Richarlison had just moved too early. He was offside. Correct decision, and actually Calvert-Lewin was offside in the middle as well.
We think the saxophone's coming from outside the ground.
Right. Okay. So that's coming from to your left, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I'm right in saying. Gomez in with a challenge now. Minamino comes in, takes his legs away. Gomez. That was agricultural, and it's a free kick. And Minamino marches away with his head down. They've told him about the Merseyside derby.
Yeah, they got through to him.
Yeah, and he's put in a Merseyside derby challenge, and it's a free kick to Everton. So if the music's coming from, if the saxophone's been played over there, that's next to the big red brick church, isn't it? Which is between the Gladys Street end and the main stand here.
Maybe it's the priest.
Maybe it's connected to the service this afternoon. Here's Davis. Davis running back to his edge of his own penalty area, and he needed Holgate to come back and sweep the ball away right-footed. And then Fabinho with another little foul, and it's a free kick to Everton. Yeah. Now that's at least number 3 for Fabinho.
It was Van Dijk. I think I'm not really sure if it was a foul, John, to be honest with you. I think Van Dijk's just...
Oh, you're right, it was Van Dijk.
It was Van Dijk. No, it was a foul by Van Dijk. Take that back. Wasn't a bad foul. I didn't think it needed a roll and somersault.
He's okay. He's on his feet, and Everton are back in possession, and Michael Keane plays it back to Pickford. So a Merseyside derby, a few chances so far Less than 15 minutes to go to half-time. In fact, we've seen next to nothing. The last two derbies here at Goodison have ended 0-0. Here's Gomez on the far side. Gomez with Minamino again, and he has nicked the ball away from him this time, and then it's played forward by Henderson. Mane touches it off, now on the edge of the area with Firmino, who drags his shot wide with defenders arriving on the scene. I think Coleman threw himself in front of it, and Firmino just dragged his effort wide from just inside the box.
He scuffed it, didn't he? It's just one of those. He saw the goal and never really, in terms of his technical ability, just wanted to strike through it and just scuffed it.
So it's a goal kick for Everton.
Yeah, that was the best chance of the game so far.
And Everton have taken a number of these short, and they've thought about this one, but have thought better of it, and Pickford is actually going to deliver it downfield. He's someone, Pickford, who's got a little bit of ground to make up, hasn't he, from the season so far?
Yeah.
And a lot of noise around Dean Henderson, and Nick Pope as well, for that matter, who's kept as many clean sheets as anyone in the Premier League this season, as Mane is then bundled over on the halfway line. Keane just a shove in the back, and it's a free kick on the halfway line, and then Fabinho and Richarlison, the two Brazilians together, just exchanging words.
Views. Yeah. Different views.
Yeah, all in Portuguese, I'm sure. Henderson now to the far side. Not sure what Mike Dean's Portuguese will be like. Van Dijk playing it back to another Portuguese speaker, Alisson, and the Liverpool goalkeeper gets it back and plays it here to the left-hand side. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. If Liverpool are able to win this one, just to make it absolutely clear. Now, Jurgen Klopp's not happy there about a challenge on Mane, and Everton attack down the right-hand side. Iwobi takes it away from Fabinho, plays it in. Gordon with a lovely flick. Richarlison's left foot shot. That was blocked by Alexander-Arnold round about the penalty spot, and Liverpool are able to counter-attack. Jurgen Klopp is still unhappy about that challenge on Mane that didn't result in a free kick for Liverpool, standing with his palms apart. Henderson taking it on though to the edge of the area. Henderson's cross headed down and away by Digne for Everton, and the ball will trundle out of play now against the hoardings on the far side. Yeah,
I think it wasn't the fact it was a bad challenge, it's just that it was a foul, but he's sort of started to get on one a little bit, hasn't he? Jurgen Klopp, a little bit frustrated with the way that Liverpool are playing.
Liverpool home to Crystal Palace on Wednesday night. That's a 5 Live commentary match. Ball played over the top to the edge of the area, but it bounces through to Pickford.
Yeah, I think Pickford shouted there for Keane, which did well, as Keane was kind of running back, and it's one of those awkward ones. Do I head it back to the goalkeeper? Where is he? And Pickford obviously just sorted it out for him.
And just to tell people again who don't know, who haven't clocked onto this, if Liverpool were able to win this tonight, then they would be maximum 3 points away from winning the title, and therefore if Burnley were able to win against Manchester City tomorrow night, that would do it. But there's a lot of ifs in that sentence. Here's Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Now back to Henderson. Henderson just lays it back to Alexander-Arnold. Then Alexander-Arnold digs a pass, but he's not got his range at all yet, Alexander-Arnold, and it just bounces away through for a goal kick.
Yeah, I think when it was a bit like that, and Klopp's just shouting at him, when it's a bit like that, which is just pass it easy for a while, just to get your confidence before you try a tricky one.
So it's a goal kick to Everton again, and 3 players have taken up positions inside the penalty area. Everton talking about taking this short in front of the Gladys Street end, with an enormous picture of Howard Kendall across the middle of the top tier. There's Everton do play it out short, playing it out from the back, and then Digne chips on down the line for Anthony Gordon. It actually catches him on the back and drops nicely for him. Quick feet from the teenager. Gordon playing it into the penalty area, but Van Dijk comes across, shuffles across, and just clears it out for a throw over there on the far side.
Gordon did well, John. Got the ball down, had a little look, advanced with it and made the pass.
Pair of plain black boots on as well, Mark.
Well, they won't be by tomorrow, will they? Somebody will have rung up and sorted him out.
Everton take the throw. Gordon coming back from an offside position, so it's a free kick to Liverpool deep inside their own half.
It's been an intriguing game, not a particularly good one. I think Everton have been very good defensively. Liverpool lots of possession. apart from the chance for Matip, nothing else to speak for it.
I think the most entertaining match so far, and I've seen most of them, was the Tottenham-Manchester United on the Friday night.
It had a different feel completely, that game, than all the other games.
Totally different, yeah. Although the match I saw previous to this, Manchester City played some great stuff on Wednesday night.
Yeah, but only after Arsenal had those injuries and the game sort of opened up a little bit.
Liverpool with it on the left-hand side. And Milner is just going to collect one of the balls on the little cones, the little training cones, because Mane was fouled, and it's a free kick for Liverpool out here on the left-hand side. 6-7 minutes to go to half-time, 0-0. Alexander-Arnold receives the ball from Milner and hits another awful pass over everyone and through for a goal kick.
Oh, did you see Klopp?
Yes.
Klopp's, he's ranting at him. Absolutely ranting at him.
He's still looking at him.
Yeah, because the player actually won't look back at Klopp because he knows he's going to get it.
And fortunately for Alexander-Arnold, in the first half,
far side,
he's
brilliant.
on the opposite side to Klopp. But he's got a lot of ground to make up, Alexander-Arnold. Here's Firmino, though, in the centre circle. Firmino running away with the ball, but then passes it straight to Coleman. Real signs of rustiness. It's a real... almost an early season sort of match. Here's Richarlison in terms of some of the little errors that have been made. Richarlison then runs into a combination of Fabinho and Keita. Wijnaldum only on the bench today, so Keita getting a start. Mane does well, turns Coleman. Mane now setting off. Keane puts in the challenge and takes him down. Mane as he cut in field, and referee Mike Dean, who was only 3 or 4 yards away, it was the classic. He couldn't get the card out of his back pocket quickly enough.
It was like the toast in a toaster, just popped out straight away. And from Keane's point of view, it was a foul worth making, I think, because Mane then would have got on the edge of the penalty area. So what are we, 25, 30 yards out, I would have thought.
So does Alexander-Arnold, do they entrust him with this, or does the captain Henderson say,
he's pulling rank, I would suggest.
I'll be taking this one?
Yeah.
Well, Alexander-Arnold is there.
Yeah. He's nuisance value, John, I think.
And he's actually gone forward. Now Henderson placed the ball. Now Alexander-Arnold has gone and placed the ball. This is best part of 30 yards out. Left of centre. 4-man Everton wall. Pickford dancing around. Henderson runs up. No, it is Alexander-Arnold who shoots, and Pickford is able to go down to his right. Didn't get any whip on it at all. Pickford had a good sight and was able to go down, parry it, and then gather it.
Yeah, it was going in, mine, just inside the post. So maybe a look at Jurgen Klopp now.
0-0 the score. BBC Radio 5 Live. And here's Iwobi for Everton on the right-hand side. Has played exclusively on the right, Iwobi so far. And the full debutant, Gordon, out on the left-hand side. Ball out of play again in front of
Milner down.
Dugouts. And James Milner has gone to ground. And so the medical people will come on, of course, fully face covered up and gloves on. And Milner just sitting on the ground will receive treatment.
He's coming off.
So what's he done?
I'm not sure. It looked like his right ankle, maybe. Took his boot off very, very quickly, tie-ups off and everything, and there was a little look which was said, no, I've run my race.
So this is going to be the first of Liverpool's 3 substitute slots. They can also make changes at half-time, remember, now that the teams can make 5 changes per match, and that is it for Milner, who gets up. As Mark said, he's got his boot off, but that's the end of Milner's afternoon. And Joe Gomez makes an earlier than expected return to action, and has actually immediately taken up a position as the left back.
Well, Brendan Rodgers had him playing there quite a while when he first signed him. I think just to get him used to the team. I think everybody knows it's not his position, but he certainly, if he does make a mistake in that position, which he might do, not being used to it, he's got the pace to recover.
Davis very nearly lost possession in what could have been a dangerous area, but just was able to stab the ball back to Holgate, and then Liverpool end up in possession halfway inside their own half as the saxophone strikes up again. And it's also Love Will Tear Us Apart again. Do you only know one song?
Would you like a request?
Everton 0, Liverpool 0 on what is now a dry afternoon or evening.
I think we should send Juliet out to find out what it is.
Sounds like an interview opportunity to me. Juliet sitting about 12 yards to our right. I think she's looking for a microphone. Here's Matip. Matip picking out Alexander Arnold on the right-hand side. 0-0 and half-time approaching. At half-time, I'm sure we'll hear some reaction to the earlier matches. Chelsea's win after being a goal down at Villa Park. Newcastle, good 3-0 winners against Sheffield United. And I guess we'll be back on the Zoom call as well with our Liverpool and Everton supporters to see how they've enjoyed their Merseyside derby, sitting at home and watching it. Here's Matip to the right-hand side to Alexander Arnold, then Keita just shuffles across there. Firmino manages to find the pass back to Keita, and then Minamino. Keita again, Mane left side of the area, Everton with bodies in there. Mane pulls it across, Minamino shot on the turn, that's blocked by Holgate at source as he rather telegraphed the shot on the turn, and Everton were able to block it and clear. Van Dijk starts them off on another move. Matip rolls a pass to Alexander Arnold again, who picks out Fabinho just forward of the centre circle, allows it to roll back to Henderson, and then the newly arrived substitute Joe Gomez is able to turn it back to Van Dijk on the halfway line. So still 0-0. The two managers, actually Carlo Ancelotti has just moved into Jurgen Klopp's coaching area down in front of us, but steps back into his own as Alisson has possession of the ball in front of the penalty area. Adrian, there was a doubt over him as well, but he is named among the Liverpool subs. Started the 3 matches before the shutdown and had 1 or 2 dicey moments as well, if you remember. Adrian in those games when Liverpool were knocked out of the FA Cup at Chelsea, as Alexander Arnold's ball forward takes a deflection, and so Holgate has to come across and chip the ball into the seats in the upper part of the lower section of the Bullens Road stand. So they require another ball from a cone. 2 minutes of added time at the end of the first half, and a goalless first half as Liverpool have this throw level with the edge of the Everton penalty area. Alexander Arnold finds Fabinho with the throw. Fabinho back to Matip. Then the ball down the line to Alexander Arnold. First time touch to lay it off to Henderson. The challenge comes in on him from Digne to deflect it out of play for a throw near the corner flag.
There hasn't really been a clear-cut opportunity, has there? Just trying to think.
Matip with a header.
Yeah, sorry, Matip with a header. But he approached it like a man who had no shampoo, didn't he? He was never looked as though he was going to throw his head at it. It just kind of hit him. Throw
in, comes off an Everton head but bounces across the box, and Pickford is able to pick up, then sends one of those Pickford flying kicks downfield. Alisson, actually the goalkeeper at the other end, is able to volley it back to the halfway line. Keita does well against Andre Gomez, and Keita, little ball in field towards Henderson. Henderson passes in front of Mike Dean, and then Gomez back into the centre circle. 2 minutes of added time. We've got about 45 seconds of the first half still to go. Most of the football in this 236th Merseyside derby has been played in between the 2 penalty areas. Minamino starting the match, perhaps surprisingly. Salah only fit enough to be on the bench. Remains to be seen whether we'll see him at some stage. And Liverpool with Henderson 10 yards inside Everton territory. Chip ball for, that's headed away by Coleman. Comes back for Liverpool again. And it sounds like the vocals have gone up in terms of the level of the noise out there on the pitch for the final few seconds of this first half. We are able to bring you enhanced audio from inside the stadium for these matches now. But there's not been too much to shout about because the half-time whistle goes from Mike Dean and it's 0-0, Mark Lawrenson. Yeah, it's been somewhat bitty. I mean, the pace of the game has certainly raised one real clear-cut opportunity. Matip with a header from across on the right-hand side, which he should have done much better. Alexander Arnold made Pickford make a save, but I think you'd call that a pretty normal save for Pickford. And as you just said there, really both teams are playing between the 18-yard box, nobody managing to get in behind the opposition defensively. I think Everton have done well. I think Richarlison's worked extremely hard and caused Liverpool 1 or 2 problems, but in terms of chances for the match,
few and far between.
No, the sort of game that I think in the build-up to this resumption that we were expecting to see.
Definitely.
And so it is Everton 0, Liverpool 0 at half-time here at Goodison Park. Steve? Yes, the Everton players are out there. I don't think that they're going to make any changes, but I think Liverpool are going to make a change because Jurgen Klopp's been walking back across the pitch with Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain in discussions, and Anthony Taylor, the fourth official, is down there. Yep, Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's ready, does his trademark hop onto the field. Question is, who's he coming on for?
Minamino? I can't see Minamino.
Yep, you're right.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah, so Oxlade-Chamberlain on for Minamino. So that's the second Liverpool change. So under the new laws to the end of the season, Liverpool will still have 2 more slots in the second half to make further changes. Everton yet to make their first. It is 0-0. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. BBC Radio 5 live from Goodison Park on this first Sunday night of Project Restart. It is fine and dry now on this breezy afternoon. Blue skies above Goodison Park, and the ball out of play for a throw on the far side. Everton then with Pickford in goal, back 4 of Coleman, Keane, Holgate and Digne. In midfield, it will be on the right, Gomez, Davis, and making his full debut, Anthony Gordon, the 19-year-old, with Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin up front, as Liverpool play a ball for Oxlade-Chamberlain to chase, but that's well beyond him, and Pickford has got it, and Oxlade-Chamberlain is actually starting on the right-hand side up front. So the Liverpool team is Alisson, Alexander-Arnold, Matip, Van Dijk and substitute Gomez. Milner had to go off just before half-time. Then Henderson, Fabinho and Keita, and now Oxlade-Chamberlain, Firmino and Mane. Mohamed Salah is among the Liverpool substitutes, but did have a knock and was doubtful for this game. Andy Robertson not involved at all. Mane now hits a low pass out to the right-hand side. Oxlade-Chamberlain went past Holgate, who went to ground, who might have caught Oxlade-Chamberlain there, but it's not given as a free kick.
Well, he's not got uppity or anything about it, has he, at all, Oxlade-Chamberlain?
And it was out of play for a throw. Final touch was off Oxlade-Chamberlain. Throw-in taken for Everton. If you weren't listening in the first half, if you're out and about on the roads of the UK, and there was quite a lot of traffic, I thought, on the road this afternoon when I was making my way here. The first half, you didn't miss much.
No. Great description, John, for you, the first half.
Go on.
It says, I've just lost it now. Forget it.
We'll come back to that. Here's Fabinho. Now back to Matip. And then Matip strides forward deep into Everton territory. Gordon slides in, didn't clear the ball. Alexander-Arnold's little stab into the penalty area is easily cleared away by Holgate downfield for Calvert-Lewin to chase, who is juggling the ball on his head. He must have kept it up there 5 times. Brilliant.
No, this description, it feels like somebody's got the players out of a freezer and they're not quite defrosted yet. Yeah, very good.
That's a great description. Who told you that?
Couldn't possibly tell you, mate.
Yeah, that is a great description. But Calvert-Lewin there,
brilliant, isn't it?
At full pay. When was the last time you saw that in a match? I cannot remember saying that. He was running at pace and juggling the ball with his head. Here's a ball down the left-hand side, and this is for Gomez into the penalty area. Coleman with a good challenge. Gomez at full pace into the penalty area, and Seamus Coleman timed his challenge perfectly.
Had to be perfect as well. He was second favourite at one time, but very, very good challenge. Took the ball cleanly.
And we finally do have the first corner of the match for Liverpool in the 4th minute of the second half. Alexander-Arnold makes his way over there to take it underneath one of the big screens, and a number of Father's Day messages I see going up on the screen there. Alexander-Arnold swings the ball in, Pickford comes for it, gets a left hand to it, but was stretching rather and just clawed it away out into the Everton left back area, where it was cleared by Digne and deflected out of play off Anthony Gordon for a throw into Liverpool.
Not convincing Pickford, is he, when he comes for that? Just a little bit of a flailing left hand as well.
So it is a throw in that Alexander-Arnold will take. He spins the ball as he lifts it above his head and then loops the throw down the line for Oxlade-Chamberlain, who took it on his thigh, but it bounced and ran away from him behind into the hoardings in front of the Sir Philip Carter Park stand, as it is now. If you drive through Liverpool now, if you drive anywhere near Goodison Park, you can see the letters spelling out Goodison on their stands on top of the park stand. It's quite distinctive in Everton blue, as referee Dean, I think, is going to have the goal kick taken again that Everton took.
Did somebody encroach?
I think they did. I think Mane must have encroached into the penalty area.
How dare he?
So Jordan Pickford, all in yellow, in front of the park stand, which has got approximately 15 people in it. Most of them are stewards and big Everton Supporters Club banners at the front. There's one from Everton USA, I notice, on the far side of the lower section of that stand. Pickford takes it, left-footed downfield. Gomez, playing at left back, is able to head it forward. Mane goes to ground, and referee Dean says that is a free kick from Coleman.
Yeah, I thought Coleman was just stronger. I wanted it a little bit more.
That was debatable.
Very.
Gomez takes the free kick back into his own half. 5 minutes gone in the second half. I'll let you know when the lines are open for 6:06 with Emma Jones and Robbie Savage, who here was having a little bit of a go at half time. Here's Matip now right-footed back to the edge of the area. Keita's ball in. Keita gets it back from Firmino and then drives it across. He was arriving at pace, and he rather volleyed it and gave Mane no chance arriving at the far post.
Great little 1-2. I thought he might have just taken it on his chest and gone on a little bit, because he'd burst past every single Everton defender. Great little give and go.
Yeah, I think he was going for goal. Going for goal, but he pulled it across.
Now you know why he's a midfield player.
Yes. So the lines are open for 6:06, 08 085 909 693. Text 85058. Get in touch now as well, if you like, on social media, hashtag BBC 606. As I say, Emma Jones and Robbie Savage waiting to take your calls on 606 from round about 9 o'clock tonight. Pickford clearing from inside his penalty area, and Alexander-Arnold allowing the ball to bounce out of play for a throw-in halfway inside his own half.
It's not very convincing that Everton want to play out from the box, is it? You can tell they sort of want the ball, the three centre-backs, or the two centre-backs and Coleman, but they don't really want the ball.
Alexander-Arnold driving it forward via a deflection. Mane heads it back to Keita. Keita now, little legs pumping, gives the ball to Gomez, who's joined in on the left-hand side again. Gomez cuts back onto his right foot then, as Iwobi arrives, is able to find Mane. Henderson is there as well, as Davis comes in with the challenge. Henderson just knocks it away and then gets it back, and then a flick from Henderson down the line for Mane, who stands up strong against Coleman, and referee Dean says too strong from Mane with the shoulder on Coleman. Free kick Everton.
I think he just equalised what happened before, did he not?
Mark, agree.
I was only going to say he couldn't possibly comment, but which obviously meant you do agree.
Yes, I decided that I could comment on that. Here's Pickford. Well, on the slide, clear it away, and it bounces out of play for another throw-in on the far side. 0-0.
I get the impression that the game might be just slowly opening out a little bit, John. Not quite as packed in the midfield area, certainly not at the start of this half. And we don't know, of course, from both teams' point of view, how hard they've actually had to work in the first 40-odd minutes. Everton,
who have got as serious a list of injuries as any team at the moment. There's no Mina, no Walcott. Cenk Tosun is out with a knee injury at the moment. Gabamin, of course, has got another an injury, and Fabian Delph also not available. So that's quite a lengthy list after the 3-month layoff. Liverpool. Firmino flicks it on down the left-hand side. Mane is onto this, into the penalty area on the left-hand side. The challenge comes in from Coleman, and referee Dean, who was well placed, says Coleman put in the challenge and was able to deflect it back onto Mane, and it is a goal kick for Everton. It's Mane versus Coleman, isn't it? Start of the second half now. It's good contest. Very good contest. 3 separate occasions. There's one thing, Seamus Coleman's legs haven't gone, have they?
Well, if you can keep up with Mane, there's nothing wrong with you.
You're doing all right. Sadio Mane. As Everton take this short goal kick, and Mane was closing down Holgate, who passed it to Davis, and Everton have been able to work it away, but there's an air of dicing with danger with those Everton goal kicks when they take them short. 0-0 the score on 5 Live on this Sunday evening, and Firmino now to Gomez again, who's getting forward at every opportunity. His cross blocked back to Gomez, and then Coleman very quickly in to clear it out of play into the hoardings on the far side. The
only problem Gomez has, you can see straight away, everything's got to be on his right foot, hasn't it? So he's all the time he's bringing the ball back, which just gives defenders a little split second to reset themselves.
Keita, Liverpool in their first choice, the red kit against Everton, blue shirts, white shorts, white socks. Everton defending the park stand, and Iwobi is able to win a goal kick for his team, and Everton can't get out at the moment, Mark.
No, and the game's happening in that little kind of eighth the size of the pitch, isn't it? But I think certainly from Everton's point of view, nothing's changed at the start of the second half. They are defending extremely well. They don't look creatively as though they've got much there anyway, but from stopping Liverpool playing, it's working.
Everton 0, Liverpool 0. If you have been out and about today, the other scores: Newcastle 3-0 winners against Sheffield United. Chelsea won 2-1 at Villa Park in our second commentary match after being 1-0 down. And Cardiff City won 2-0 against Leeds in the Championship. Those are the matches that you might want to discuss on 606. And the lines are open: 08 085 909 693. We've got Alexander Arnold to take a throw-in, almost level with the edge of the Everton penalty area. Alexander Arnold takes the throw. Henderson makes the run towards the byline, hooks it back across. It's over the top of Mane, and it lands in between Keita and Gomez for Iwobi to get a right foot to and clear out of play for a throw-in 10 yards inside Everton territory.
Yeah, quick thinking from the throw. Henderson did really well, actually, just helping it on, hoping somebody was in the 6-yard box.
Liverpool start to knock it around again in the central third. Everton, who've not beaten Liverpool since 2010. Alexander Arnold with the cross. It deflects back out of play off Digne for another throw. Again, Alexander Arnold holding and spinning the ball in his hands, looking for some movement. And Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita comes across. Henderson's there as well. Still Alexander Arnold waits, then takes the throw to Henderson, and then Gordon comes in with a challenge, and this one's been deflected out of play for a corner.
There's going to be an Everton change, John. I think it's Sigurdsson, is it? I think.
I don't know, I can't see him.
Oh, well.
I'll take your word for it.
And there's no pillar in the way.
No, there's not. So it's a corner, first one Liverpool have had from the right-hand side. So Alexander Arnold, the outswinger. Van Dijk has arrived at the back. Remember him scoring against Everton on his debut. Van Dijk, Matip is on the goal line. Pickford has 2 Liverpool players in there. Here's the delivery from Alexander Arnold. Van Dijk heads it down, but it's straight at Pickford, who's able to stand in the sort of squat position and draw the ball into his gloves. Chance at the back post. He had players around him, Van Dijk.
Yeah, wasn't the greatest of headers. I just wonder if he's coming on for the kid, possibly.
I think so. Another short goal kick. This time Gomez on the edge of the box with 2 Liverpool players either side of him is able to pass the ball back to Keane, and Everton do work it away from the back. Yep, it is Sigurdsson just waiting now with his hands on his hips. I can see him now. Digne's cross into the Liverpool penalty area. Easy for Alisson, who's able to claim that quite comfortably. Still sunshine across that little portion of the pitch, and the saxophonist is back again for the second half. He was also playing Yellow Submarine, Juliet Ferrington was telling us, in the first half. Yeah.
Should she not be watching the game?
Well, with the best will in the world, it's not been a classic. Matip now down the right hand side to Alexander Arnold, who plays it in at pace, might have been caught late, likewise Oxlade-Chamberlain, and then Alexander Arnold gets back to his feet and plays it back to Henderson, who will go all the way back to goalkeeper Alisson.
Yeah, Klopp wanted referee to blow up. The referee'd seen the foul, and because Liverpool still had advantage, he let them play on, but Klopp still he's right on one.
Liverpool coming forward again from left to right as we look. Alexander-Arnold, that's a better looking cross into the edge of the 6-yard box, a real tease and curler. And Michael Keane, he didn't have anyone near him, but he didn't take any chances and just walloped it left-footed high behind and out of play for another Liverpool corner. And we are going to see the change. And you're right, Mark, it is the young man, the teenager who's made his full debut for Liverpool, Liverpudlian as well, Anthony Gordon, who will be replaced by Gylfi Sigurdsson, who was a little surprisingly left out of the starting lineup.
Yeah, this lad's done nothing wrong though. 1 or 2 bright periods of play. He'll be much richer for the experience certainly, but there's just a feeling now at the start of the second half that Trent Alexander-Arnold's starting to boss the right-hand side.
Yeah, he's warming up, Alexander-Arnold. Here's the corner, it's played in, but it's headed away. Calvert-Lewin was back in there, got his head to it, and the ball eventually dribbles out of play on the far side for a throw-in to Liverpool. 0-0 the score. I think Jurgen Klopp might have just alerted 1 or 2 of the substitutes. Have you seen Salah warming up, incidentally, or not?
No, I haven't.
Here's Henderson. Henderson plays it in, but at head height. Holgate is able to get his forehead to it, and now Calvert-Lewin might send one over the top. He does, for Richarlison to chase onto. Richarlison away from Matip, right side of the box. Oh, he's blazed it high and almost under the top tier of the Gladys Street stand.
Well, of all the players in that position, you would want the Brazilian Richarlison, would you not? And he got away, and the problem was he was starting to run diagonally away from Alisson's goal, but his shot was extremely poor. It ended up in the top tier of the stand.
In amongst all of the Everton greats who've got their pictures up there on the banners, and Howard Kendall, the biggest of them all. Liverpool now coming forward with Mane stretching forward towards the edge of the box, and in comes Digne with a challenge, and that's given us a free kick and a yellow card for Digne.
He got the ball, did he not? I thought he just nipped it off him.
Well, that's certainly the point the Everton players are making there. Three of them are around the front side of Mike Dean, who is just imposing his authority on this and telling the Everton players that he'll be the one who makes the decisions.
No, he got his studs on it.
Got the ball.
Yeah, it was legitimate. So wrong shout by Mike Dean, I'm afraid.
And a yellow card. Listen, it's not just the players who are rusty then.
No.
So it's a free kick in a really good position as well. This is just outside the D.
Yeah, and also I always think with these positions, what does a goalkeeper do? Does he set the wall up and move to one side? Because that's the thing with it, because it's virtually in the middle of the goal.
So this will be something like 22, 23 yards out. Alexander-Arnold is very interested. He's already had one sighter in the first half from a free kick that was relatively easily saved by Pickford. This one is just slightly right of centre. The wall is 3, maybe 4 yards back inside the Everton box. A 5-man Everton wall. There are 3 Liverpool players standing a yard to the front of it. Henderson is putting his hand to his mouth and whispering into the ear of Alexander-Arnold. Liverpool free kick. Trent Alexander-Arnold clips the wall and deflects wide to Jordan Pickford's left of the goal. He dived down for it, but it flicked an Everton head, and it's a corner to Liverpool.
Oh, it was going to be tight, John. I think if it hadn't flicked somebody's head, it was going to be really, really tight. Might just have sneaked in that.
Liverpool's pressure is continuing to build here. Everton have barely been out of their own half in the second half. So Alexander-Arnold with this latest Liverpool corner. Here it is, delivered to the edge of the 6-yard box, headed away for Everton, bounces down. Iwobi then gets a foot to it, and he's able to clear it, but only to Alexander-Arnold, and Liverpool start again. Everton come out, but Gomez finds Keita, and Keita now has support out there from Firmino. Firmino's pass, Mane in the right-back area. Mane chips it across to the back post. He was looking for Oxlade-Chamberlain, who fouled Digne as he challenged for the ball, and it's a free kick for Everton, and it's still 0-0, Mark Lawrenson.
Yeah, it was actually a good clearance by Digne, and he wasn't injured certainly, but I just feel now as Liverpool about to make another substitution that the momentum is very much with them, and I feel as though Everton are just hanging on a little bit here.
Without Liverpool absolutely hammering on the door.
No, they're not hammering on the door. They're just kind of gently knocking.
Yeah, tapping. Wijnaldum is going to come on very shortly for Liverpool, and Matip is fouled. An aerial challenge. I think Calvert-Lewin.
He's all right.
Matip's rubbing the right side of his head as he climbs to his feet. Mike Dean checks and sees that he's okay. He is, and we will, I think, have the change now before play resumes again with 25 minutes to go. BBC Radio 5 Live, 6:06 on the way, and it's going to be a double Liverpool change actually, and Wijnaldum is going to take the place of Keita, so that is a straight swap, and Firmino makes way for Divock Origi, who is onto the field. He's had a long spell, Origi, since he last scored. Well, everyone has before the resumption of play. But even before the resumption, 18 appearances for Liverpool without scoring. But his last couple of goals were in the 5-2 against Everton. And remember that match last season, the late goal as a substitute that he scored against Everton when Pickford and the crossbar, etc., etc., etc. So Origi is onto the field, and that's the end of Firmino's afternoon.
Everton can't get out, can they? Can't get the ball to get out their own half.
Origi's taken a position to begin with on the left-hand side, so Mane playing more centrally. We'll see if they vary that. 25 minutes to go. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. And
there was a shot of Salah on the bench, John. Actually looked a little bit miffed.
Okay. Well, Liverpool are playing on Wednesday night. It'll be you and me at Anfield, won't it, on Wednesday evening when Crystal Palace come, as Alexander-Arnold lifts a high ball to the edge of the box, and Origi is challenged for it, and it bounces away, and Everton clear towards the halfway line. Yes, Roy Hodgson and Crystal Palace coming to Anfield on Wednesday after a very good win yesterday evening.
You forget he managed Liverpool, don't you?
He was the manager when Everton last beat Liverpool.
Wow.
Back in 2010. And actually with that defeat, Liverpool dropped into the bottom 3 of the Premier League. That was, as I say, back in 2010. Here's Alexander-Arnold playing the ball in towards the edge of the box, and Digne is able to just stab it out of play. Still really very few chances in this match in terms of goal scoring, real goal scoring opportunities.
I just wonder, as players tire, which obviously automatically they're going to because of they've had so many weeks out, that lack of concentration, etc., defensively might just cost one of the teams.
Yeah. Actually, I think you could argue that the clearest chance that either side's had in the second half was when Richarlison was put away by Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, should have done much better as well.
Yeah. 0-0. And Origi rolling it back to Van Dijk. A number of the players out there looking slightly different, but you can't say that of Van Dijk. He looks as though he stepped straight out of the middle of March and taken up from where he left off.
Looks like he stepped out the middle of Vogue.
That as well. Here's Henderson. Henderson again turns on his right foot. A high ball looking for Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side, who is challenged by Digne, and then Richarlison trying to keep the ball in play very nearly kicked the ball up here next to where we are.
Oh, it's drinks time, is it?
Oh, drinks time, yes. Middle of the second half, so timeout time. And who'll be the more satisfied of the two, Mark?
I would say Ancelotti. His team haven't conceded a goal. Defensively, they've been very, very good. They've spurned very few, or given up very few chances. Liverpool are huffing and puffing without kind of blowing the house down, are they? And made the substitutions as well now, but now Everton defensively look good. I mean, they just can't get out of their own half, but at the moment that isn't really a problem.
Just while the drinks break goes on, we've got some messages from listeners. Mark Neo says, honestly just hoping Minamino shows us something. I really, really like him, but I think he needs to start delivering. Well, he's been substituted. Tyler says, shame to see Minamino subbed, as he had a good half, but I have no doubt Klopp is also managing the fitness of players on the return here. Hammy says, is there a reason why Henderson is passing the ball to someone else to hoof it up
in red?
Barber says Derby games in particular will suffer without a crowd, no intensity. reasonable point.
Yeah.
And Cornelius says Seamus Coleman is having a stormer.
Yes,
I suspect that is our former colleague,
Mr. Lycett.
Yes, I suspect so.
Find him. We can't find him anymore.
No, can't find him anymore. But he's a big Everton fan.
Somebody has to be.
Everton 0, Liverpool 0, and the drinks break is over. Liverpool have got one slot left, haven't they, for a substitution? And I think Everton have got 2.
Yeah.
Sigurdsson, incidentally, is playing exactly where Gordon was, on the left-hand side.
Yeah, but with a little bit more experience, and I haven't seen Alexander-Arnold coming forward as much, have we? Although here he is now.
Here he is now, up against Digne. The ball drops over Digne's shoulder. Alexander-Arnold almost onto that, but Digne does well, actually, watched it well and dispatches it into the stands, the empty stands to our right, and the ball actually bounces back onto the pitch, and with the spin bounces back into the stand. So Alexander-Arnold instead resorts to one of the disinfected balls that are on the little training cones next to the pitch, and will use that instead while the other one is recovered. So throw in Alexander-Arnold in towards Origi, but it bounces away from him, and Gomez allows it to run out of play for an Everton throw. 20 minutes to go. Jurgen Klopp pacing around. If it stays like this, then, if you haven't worked it out for yourself, Liverpool would need a maximum of 5 points to clinch the league title. Commentary tomorrow night on 5 Live, Manchester City against Burnley. You'll hear that. That's actually an 8 o'clock kickoff tomorrow evening. We'll obviously have the second leg of the League 2 playoffs covered as well, with Colchester and Cheltenham leading into those matches. But commentary from Manchester City will be the centrepiece of 5 Live Sport. And Matip has gone down holding his right foot and has just passed the ball out of play. So he can receive treatment. Yeah, he had a clash with Richarlison just before, which was purely accidental. Obviously, maybe when he's put his foot back on the floor, put down on the floor, that it's might have given way a little bit. I don't think he's the bravest, Matip. And he's shaking his head down there. So I wonder if this means we're going to have to see another Liverpool change. As I said, they've only got one more slot left to make a change. However, they have made the 4 substitutions, so only one change that they can make. I notice that now there seems to be a mournful, sounds like a sort of conch shell that's being played outside the ground. So I'm not sure what that's all about. You sure it wasn't the saxophonist just losing his breath a little bit? Or well, it's in keeping with the tone of the match, which has not been sparkling. No. Matip is back on his feet, has a little sprint. No, he's not. He's off. Has a little sprint and then says, no, that's it. I can't, that's it. That's me done. And walks off and then starts limping again. So Liverpool are going to have to make another change. Oh, no, he wants to go back on now. Change of plan? He wants to go back on. He's back on. You do the hokey cokey. Oh, dear. Well, work that one out. Football's back. Yes. So whoever it was someone was taking off their training top down below. Trying to work out who that would be. It's a little bit more difficult with a list of 9 substitutes now. It's 0-0 the score. Allison's got the ball in front of his penalty area. It's Lovren, by the way. Oh yeah, of course it is. Yeah, and he is ready now. And it looks as though the change is going to be made, and Matip is going to leave the field, and Liverpool make their 5th and final change, and Dejan Lovren is back on the scene. Only his 3rd appearance of 2020. His last one was in the ignominious 3-0 defeat against Watford, which ended the prospect of an unbeaten season for Liverpool. Oh yeah, Troy Deeney had him on toast, didn't he? That's right. Here's Gomez on the left-hand side. Gomez with a right foot cross, but it bounces over the heads of Holgate and Mane, and Pickford is able to gather it on the bounce. So 0-0, just over 15 minutes to play. For your information, John, this game is not getting any better now. Nope. Really scrappy. But gradually we're getting used to watching these Premier League matches behind closed doors as as Lovren gets the Calvert-Lewin treatment that Matip has had all during the course of the match whenever he's had the opportunity, which hasn't been that often, and wins a free kick. Lovren, so it's now Lovren and Van Dijk, the central defensive partnership, with Gomez at left back and Henderson dropping deep to receive the ball, and the Liverpool captain just puts his foot on it and plays it back to Lovren again. Don't forget, or you may well have forgotten, Liverpool's record in the Premier League this season: played 29, won 27, drawn 1, lost 1. So Everton, I think, would take heart were they able to add another number to either of those two columns, and also check Liverpool's progress towards the inevitable league title. Henderson knocks it into the centre circle to Fabinho to Mane. Mane rides the challenge that comes in from Sigurdsson, and Mane still in possession, and the Liverpool number 10 plays it out towards the left hand side. Then Van Dijk up towards Wijnaldum, and then Lovren in a pair of very un-Anthony Gordon orange and yellow boots. Dejan Lovren plays it to Fabinho, who then gives it back to the Croatian, who controls it and lands a pass on the head of Luka Digne. Sigurdsson on the left-hand side turns and, well, bought the free kick, really. Yeah. He had two Liverpool players around him and went down rather easily and was given the free kick.
Well, we could see what he wanted, couldn't we? And it was delivered. I think it was Henderson just made sure he touched him and he was falling straight down.
Free kick. Everton played and make it rather awkward for Coleman, and then Iwobi is dispossessed, and Liverpool now coming forward. Henderson in the centre circle, but Everton very quickly back in shape. The two banks of four. Liverpool trying to find a way through. Origi, and taps it back to Alexander-Arnold, who turns. Origi's taken up a position on the right flank here, and then Origi gets the ball back from Lovren, but Sigurdsson put in the challenge. And now Oxlade-Chamberlain with it on the right hand side. The ball played infield. Wijnaldum, who's on his left foot but uses his right as the challenge comes in. Gomez then has to slam on the brakes and keep the ball in on the left hand side in front of the Bullens Road stand. The Everton flag with the crest still flying at the top of it. Ball played over the top. Coleman comes across to head it away. Wijnaldum, he's another Liverpool player whose hair is a little longer than we remember. Wijnaldum swings a long crossfield pass. Alexander-Arnold got past Sigurdsson but not past Digne, and then Digne passes it up into Liverpool territory. A rare chance for Calvert-Lewin to run the ball forward, which he does out to the left hand side. Took Lovren with him. There are reinforcements now in Everton blue. Tom Davies instead, though, goes back towards the halfway line, and actually Everton are being pressed all the way back halfway inside their own half, and it'll end up back with Pickford in the goal to our right. Long launch from Pickford. Calvert-Lewin got his head to it, but Van Dijk was able to tidy up and give it back to his goalkeeper Alisson. Header won by Holgate. Volley won by Henderson. Through the middle to Mane, who is beaten to it by Keane, and then the ball is played forward by Sigurdsson to Calvert-Lewin, who was offside. Put the ball in the net, though.
Doesn't count. It was tight, that. Very tight. He's off.
He is off.
He's off.
Yeah. You've got a better television over there than I have.
I'm taking it home with me. It's that big.
It's enormous. 0-0. Everton 0. Liverpool 0. Robbie Savage and Emma Jones on the way with 606 08 085 909 693. We'll tell you in our sports bulletins a little later on, by the way, what's happening in the golf at Hilton Head. Tyrrell Hatton was leading going into the final round. Tomorrow night, Manchester City against Burnley, and Everton with a throw 10 yards inside their own half that Coleman takes down the line. It's flicked on by Calvert-Lewin, deflected out of play for a throw-in to Everton. 10 yards inside the Liverpool half, in front of the massive Brazilian flag that is over there with all of the other flags. We think of the various Everton players reflecting their nationalities. Richarlison of Brazil's hardly been able to get into the game. Liverpool have dominated possession but created relatively little. Salah still on the bench. Here's Mane now on the right hand side. And indeed now, of course, we won't see Salah, will we, with Liverpool having made all of their 5 substitutions. So he'll be kept, you would have thought, for Crystal Palace on Wednesday at Anfield. Wijnaldum shrugged off the ball by Gomez. Andre Gomez has either Richarlison or Calvert-Lewin, goes for Richarlison down the left-hand side. Calvert-Lewin on his own in the middle. Richarlison plays it across. Flicked by Calvert-Lewin, saved by Alisson. Davies shoots, hits the post. It comes out and Van Dijk puts it behind.
Well, best move of the game from Everton as well. And Davies is unlucky in the end because it comes back to him so quickly and he just has a stab at it. As you said, right off the post as well. Really dangerous.
Great save by Alisson.
Was a good save.
And Davis arriving right side of the penalty area, stretching for it. I have to confess, I thought he'd scored.
Yeah, I did as well. He was under a little bit of pressure as well from Gomez with the sliding tackle. In fact, it came off Gomez onto the post.
Did it? Corner then. This is Everton's first corner of the match, and it's come in the 80th minute. And Sigurdsson will play it into the 6-yard box. Glance to the back post, and it's headed into the side netting. A little glance, a little flick, and Calvert-Lewin at the back post headed it into the side netting.
Definitely Everton's best minute of the game by far.
Against not the strongest of opposition.
No, yeah, absolutely. But even so.
But that's the closest either side have come to scoring.
It is.
Save from Alisson from an excellent flick from Calvert-Lewin, incidentally, when the ball came across from Richarlison. As I said at the time, he was the only Everton man in the penalty area when Richarlison crossed. Alisson diving down to his left. It was heading in from the flick. Made a very good scrambling save. And then Tom Davis arriving. The angle was tight. He hit it back across goal. And as Mark says, you've seen the replay, it took a flick off Gomez, hit the post, and Liverpool were able to clear. So it's still 0-0. But we've had a moment of high excitement and high drama. And Richarlison now has got away from Lovren down the left-hand side, into the box, checks back, beats Lovren again, shoots from the angle, and it was blocked by Alisson, who stood up tall. And 3 Everton players in a packed penalty area were crying for it, but Richarlison went for goal and couldn't find a way through.
Well, what on earth was Lovren doing?
He was being beaten twice over
easily
by Richarlison.
Dear, oh dear. For a man of his experience.
Richarlison first beat him for pace and then left him on the seat of his pants.
Yeah.
0-0, and Everton now and Carlo Ancelotti will be thinking, we could have won this.
Yeah.
Everton not beaten Liverpool for 10 years. Henderson lifts a ball to the back post. Pickford comes, gets his hands to it, just claws it down, with Gomez the nearest Liverpool player, and is able to follow up and claim it.
There's just no shape about Liverpool now, is there? It's very difficult to work out who's actually playing here, and they've stopped getting the ball down and passing it as well, and looking very, very ragged actually.
And Everton threatening to finish quite strongly with that latest chance for Richarlison. Digne has volleyed the ball out of play. He's claiming it's an Everton throw, but it is a Liverpool throw. Mike Dean has called that one right. So still 0-0 with 5 or 6 minutes of the 90 to play. And Emma Jones and Robbie Savage standing by. 606 08 085 909 693 85058 on the text. And a stoppage because Tom Davis and Jordan Henderson have had a word or two to say to one another. So Mike Dean's going to come across. Tom Davis is just doing his best to ignore the Liverpool captain, and the two of them just bump into one another accidentally on purpose again, having been given a ticking off. And it's still goalless. Here's Van Dijk to Gomez, then back to Van Dijk. Jurgen Klopp's made all 5 of his changes. Carlo Ancelotti has made just the one. Long ball forward for Liverpool, but over Origi's head. Digne allows it to run. It won't roll out of play, so Digne is going to have to set off with this, and Origi comes across and actually blocks the clearance, and it falls for Henderson. And now Alexander-Arnold. Digne goes to ground. Good tackle and stops Alexander-Arnold's progress. And now Davis And Everton now are just threatening here to end the match with more energy. Davis with his white socks halfway down his calves, as he likes to. Now Coleman out on the right hand side. Coleman actually goes back to the edge of his area, Mark.
Yeah, as a start of the second half, they looked very, very leggy, and all of a sudden Everton are now looking the stronger team and playing the better football.
6 minutes to go. Davis overhits that pass forward, and Gomez will just steer it back to his goalkeeper Alisson, who passes it straight back to Gomez. Fabinho is available, and then Fabinho square from him to Lovren forward to Alexander-Arnold, and then Henderson, and Liverpool still inside their own half. Van Dijk now crosses the halfway line. Van Dijk with the ball at his feet. Henderson turns and then finds Alexander-Arnold on the right-hand side. Alexander-Arnold with Oxlade-Chamberlain. Oxlade-Chamberlain crosses. Origi backpedaling, heads it down. Ball still inside the Everton box. Mane trying to turn, but Gomez in with the challenge. Gomez clears the penalty area with the ball, and then Origi takes the legs of Coleman, and it's a free kick to Everton on the edge of their own area.
Yeah, it was just a desperation tackle from Origi. He let set the yellow
card.
Yeah, just delivery took him out, then he took Coleman out. Coleman did extremely well.
Booking for Origi. Everton 0, Liverpool 0. Five Live's Premier League Sunday. More Premier League commentary tomorrow night from Manchester. More Premier League commentary this midweek. And next weekend we've got Premier League and FA Cup commentaries on the quarter-final weekend. Indeed, this time next week it'll be the latter stages of Newcastle against Manchester City on Five Live, as the ball is delivered out of play by Holgate on the halfway line. Throw in for Liverpool. Going to see another Everton change shortly, however, and the little Brazilian midfielder Bernard is going to come on as Liverpool take this throw in back to Van Dijk. Van Dijk forward towards Gomez, who will see it all the way back to Liverpool's number 4. Now Lovren looks up, strikes a long ball through the middle, over the top for Mane. Keane got his head to it, comes out to Oxlade-Chamberlain, juggles with the ball, then plays it to Alexander-Arnold, whose cross is blocked behind by the arriving Digne for another Liverpool corner.
Yeah, they won't make the substitution now, obviously, Everton.
So Alexander-Arnold is just waiting with the ball, waiting for Lovren and Van Dijk to arrive, just waiting to see them, to make the signal. Origi's up there as well with his extra height now, and the big men have taken up positions at the back post. Alexander-Arnold looks to deliver it there. It's over Van Dijk. Lovren got his head to it. It hit Gomez. The ball's still in the area, and then it's rather hurriedly cleared away by Michael Keane, and it bounces out of play. And we will now see that next Everton change. Alex Iwobi makes way. So,
do you know what, John? I can't remember him touching the ball in the second half.
It will be.
Yeah.
Well, you're right. I can't remember saying his name very often.
I really can't. But, he's part of the team in terms of defensively. They've done extremely well to stop Liverpool.
They have. And actually, it is the Liverpool of the latter part of the season before the shutdown that struggled to create chances very often.
A little bit, yeah.
I remember seeing them at Norwich when they did eventually win the game, but found it difficult to carve out chances. But little Bernard, trots onto the field now and then breaks into a run. And the ball with Liverpool on the far side. 2.5 minutes to go, plus added time. There'll be plenty of that now with all of the substitutions and the drinks break. Here's Fabinho. Fabinho passing it forward. Mane will work it infield. Henderson now 30 yards out to the right to Alexander-Arnold. Alexander-Arnold up against Digne. Then the challenge comes in from Sigurdsson, but it bounces away from Alexander-Arnold, and Bernard gets his first touch, and Digne then sends a pass high over the top of Calvert-Lewin, who tangled with Lovren again.
In fairness to Lovren, he's just getting on with it. He's been clobbered 3 times.
As Van Dijk sprays one of those passes right to the feet of Alexander-Arnold, but his ball in field. Holgate overran it. Henderson then got a touch. It might find its way to Origi. No, it doesn't. It was headed away on the edge of the Everton penalty area, and then Tom Davis looking rather grungy, doesn't he, Davis? Long blonde hair and beard. Mind you, he looked like that before shutdown.
He looked like that start the game.
Can't blame shutdown for that. Here is Lovren. Lovren now. Right-footed ball forward towards Henderson. Henderson turns to the edge of the area. Holgate in with a challenge now. Everton could be away on the break here. Bernard through the middle, but looked up and saw a phalanx of red shirts, checked back, and by that time his compatriot Fabinho had nicked the ball off him. So Liverpool will now attack down the left-hand side with Fabinho. Fabinho with a change of feet. Davis comes in with the challenge. Fabinho bounces off him. He ends on the floor. Then Henderson also ends up on the ground, and an Everton player as well. And the ball's out of play on the far side.
Richarlison?
I think it is.
He slid in on the floor, which I always, when you watch people going to tackle that like that, you just think, oh, be careful. Oh, yeah. He'll be all right, though.
Yeah, they're not calling on the medical people. And we're in the 90th minute. Well, Mark will not remember this Merseyside derby for long, other than for the circumstances.
Yes, most definitely. I mean, played in many of them where they've been extremely scrappy and bitty, but probably 50 miles an hour quicker than this. But in the circumstances, it's been okay, John, has it? And, you know, Everton have done really, really well. They really have. They could quite easily have pinched this game.
Easily. Had it not been for Alisson's save, the little deflection against the post from Davis and the follow-up to that, and Richarlison as well with the big chance that he had. In fact, he's had two chances in the second half. If you think of the one where he ran away through early on and blazed his shot wide. Still 0-0, 3 minutes of added time. I thought there might have been more than that. Mind you, Everton are going to make another change in added time. And Liverpool, however, coming forward with Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's tackled. Davis then loses out centrally to Wijnaldum. Fabinho. Now there's urgency. And what a run from Oxlade-Chamberlain. He's beaten 2 men, 3 men, and then he's caught by Richarlison. And this is a free kick in a very good position for Liverpool in added time.
Yeah, this was like the position they had a while ago where great free kick from Trent Alexander-Arnold, and it just nipped off one of the heads of the Arsenal wall. Otherwise, I think Pickford was in trouble because it's going to creep in by his near post as we look at it. So it'll be interesting to see what they do here, Liverpool.
Well, in the 10 years since Everton last won one of these Merseyside derbies, Liverpool have scored some late winners in that time over the years.
Yeah.
Not least Origi's goal last season, as we were discussing. And a free kick now. Moise Keane is the Everton player that Carlo Ancelotti wants to bring on, but not now, not in added time, with this free kick, which is best part of 25 yards out. Not quite that. Fabinho standing to the left of the ball. Henderson's marching away from that. He's taking up a position with Lovren in front of the wall. Free kick then. Fabinho to take it, and Pickford dived for it. Might have been on its way over, but Pickford made sure anyway with his leap to his left, helping it over the top.
He had to save it. There's no discussion about that. He had to save it. At the best, I think it hits the top of the crossbar, but he's not to know, especially after the Origi incident.
So it's a corner. Yeah, absolutely. Corner from the right-hand side. Still 0-0, only seconds to play. 6:06 on the way, but Alexander-Arnold with the delivery into the near post. Pickford comes and dives and punches it away, but referee Mike Dean has spotted some pushing in there.
That'd have been a laugh, Mike Reid.
Well, run around now. And it's a free kick to Everton inside their penalty area. And the change will see Dominic Calvert-Lewin make way for Moise Keane. Well, he's done
it's
what
been
he
one
does. Of those games, yes, hasn't it, for the Everton striker?
Yeah, he does what he does best. He's a real handful to play against. Very, very difficult. And he's got a little bit more skill than people give him credit for.
International potential for Calvert-Lewin?
Yeah, quite possibly. Yeah. But, I think very cleverly, Ancelotti plays him up there with Richarlison. If he's up on his own, I think it's far more difficult. But he looks a better player when he's played up there with a partner.
So, goal kick. And we've had 3 minutes of added time. This, if it is, will be the third season in a row Everton against Liverpool at Goodison Park has ended 0-0. And it has. A goalless draw. The two Merseyside rivals resume action with a goalless draw. Not a sparkling game by any means, but it means that Everton have checked Liverpool's progress towards the title just a little, and it means that Liverpool will need now a maximum of 5 more points to be sure of the title. Mark Lawrenson.
Well, I thought the game was scrappy. Liverpool had, I would think, the majority of the possession, but they huffed and they puffed, but they never really caused Everton too many serious problems. And really, when you look at the chances, which are few and far between, the better ones fell to Everton, and they'll feel a little bit aggrieved. They've not pinched 3 points from this match. I mean, Alisson's made 2 or 3 very, very good saves. I can't remember Pickford making any outstanding saves as such. So Everton's point of view, defensively very, very good. Weren't particularly great up front because there wasn't great service, but Liverpool, they look like they haven't played for 15, 16 or 17 weeks, but they've got 90 minutes plus into the legs, which will help both teams, I feel.
And we'll have to see what happens tomorrow night. Manchester City against Burnley, but it increases the chances, doesn't it, that it might be not until the Manchester City match for Liverpool a week on Thursday that perhaps the title is clinched. But we will see what happens over the course of coming days. But it has finished here at Goodison Park as Liverpool's players troop away towards the corner, and Carlo Ancelotti there, the much trimmer Carlo Ancelotti now, as we can have a clear view of him, goes around and touches forearms with his players. A little fist bump there as well with Leighton Baines. But the final score, Everton 0, Liverpool 0.